Awesome. It's been a minute since I've done a video. In that time, obviously I've been busy with work, but also on the last video, we started an LLC. We got some of the foundation set up so that we could start building. Since that, I have set up the LLC and have all the documentation to back that up. So that involved actually forming the LLC in the state that I live in and then getting an EIN number as well. And now that that's good to go, I really should have started this a while ago. There's really no excuses to not move forward now. Today I wanted to look at prospecting and what I'm doing with that. The tool itself is still in progress. It's in a usable state, but it's not perfect. So I can temporarily start finding customers before the tool is finalized and start building that user base now, and then I'll transition them to using the tool in the future. What the tool is doesn't matter too much yet. I'm going to give a full rundown, probably just do a short video on kind of what I've been building and the purpose for it, because I think it's really interesting. But today I again just wanted to look at setting up an email automation outreach tool. I hate spam emails. I think they're really annoying. I hate getting them. I do read some of them, but I absolutely hate them. If people are respectful in the way that they write and they don't send something that's obviously marketing nonsense, I'll have a higher chance of looking at it. And I also work in sales and can say that emails do work if it's not email nonsense and this just blast BS approach that everyone kind of takes with it. So one tool I've used for a while is Apollo. There's a number of other tools that work in this space, and we'll take a quick look at all of them. You have Apollo, you have Seamless. Yep. Cognism. And why am I forgetting one of these? Seamless.ai, Cognism. The hell? Zoom Info. That's the other one. So I've been using prospecting tools for a really long time. What they're really for is, actually they cover a number of things. One of them can be just setting up email outreach and email automation so that I can get a message out instead of sending one message at one time. These tools can work with you to send emails out to 20, 50, 100 people a day. Technically you could send out thousands, but you're going to get hit with spam filters as well. So never do that. I can't think of anything worse than doing that and having all that hard work kind of made useless. But there's a handful of tools that work in this space now. The one that I got used to using was Apollo. I think Apollo is a great tool. I'm actually partnered with Apollo, so I'll put all the affiliate links for these tools in the bottom, but I've used all these in varying levels with different roles. And there's a big difference between what you're looking for and kind of what they can do. Some of them just provide you data, and then you need to find an outreach tool. That's a completely separate thing. Some of these include an outreach tool in it, which is why I use Apollo. So it gives you data and it gives you an email outreach tool. It actually just links with your inbox, which is pretty cool. Other tools here, yeah, again, just focus more on data. So data qualities might be a bit better on some of these other ones. Other ones will be more for enterprise customers and maybe targeting different industries or sectors. You could do a search for prospecting tools online as well. But I'd just point out there's a few pitfalls these have, and make sure you know what you're looking for before you grab one. So I could probably do a bigger video on that in the future if it's of interest. But today I'm going to be setting up Apollo. Trying to think, should we set up Apollo now, or should we... Here, let's look at these other tools really quickly, and I'll give my overview of them kind of as we go. Again, Apollo you're going to see because this is the one I'm setting up because I'm incredibly familiar with it. These other ones I've used to varying levels. Seamless.ai, I remember when it used to be a much smaller company. This is a really cool tool. It did not used to have any email automation. Rather, it was focused more on quality data. So if you're looking to email people, you're wanting to find a group of data that focuses more on emails. And if you're wanting to call people, obviously you want to focus on contact data that has better phone numbers. Seamless used to be the best for phone numbers by far, whereas other things like Apollo has a group of people kind of confirming contact information, and it tests the email addresses. These two tools focus on really different areas, but you would typically be choosing between one of the two of these. So Apollo and Seamless, again, used to be last time I used it. The pricing was similar, but again, it just depends on what you want to focus on. So Seamless for phone data and Apollo for email activities as a whole. Let's look at the pricing for this. No pricing online. That's always nice. Apollo we're going to see in a minute. Okay, so you have the two cheaper tools here. Again, as I said, Apollo is much better if you want to do email outreach, but also has phone number contact information. And then Seamless here is better for phone information if that's what you're looking for. It looks like they've modified this and added a lot to it. It looks like they have a whole engagement hub for doing emailing and calling and social stuff as well. So maybe I'll take a look at these tools at a later date and kind of walk through each one. Just figure them out with you live and see kind of what we can do. Well, not live, but live for me and recorded for you. Again, these are two of the more entry-level tools. When you get more to the enterprise side of the business, you were typically looking at two providers. One of them is Cognism and the other is ZoomInfo. I've worked with companies that use both of these. Both of these are incredibly expensive. There wasn't... Let's see. No? Awesome. Of course, no one with good prices hides pricing, so whatever. When you start looking at these other tools, you start looking at other ways to take data and modify the data. What you are looking at here with Cognism is sales prospecting. This is just going to provide data. So you're going to say, I'm looking for XYZ, and it'll give you that, which is data as a service. The other thing you're seeing here is CRM enrichment. CRM enrichment is possible on all these tools to certain degrees, but essentially these tools will connect to your database, your CRM system rather. So if you're using Salesforce, which is a really popular one, or HubSpot, these tools will connect to that. And then if your data in your CRM system is out of date, these will update your CRM with the up-to-date data. So it's really cool, really good way to modify groups of data if you don't have it already, if you're getting started and need to buy data or find data. These tools tend to be much better than buying calling lists, which are just grossly inaccurate anyway. So I would never recommend those. Stick with something like any of these and get phone and email activities out of them. Yeah, the difference between ZoomInfo and Cognism, from what I've seen in actual use case, isn't a great deal. They both provide very high level engagement with their data. They have teams of people that call into their phone numbers and make sure that the contacts are real. They check phone numbers and email addresses and all this stuff. ZoomInfo used to do the same thing as well and had great business data for bigger companies as well. So if you're looking to target the enterprise space, ZoomInfo is kind of the one you'd go to, and then Cognism did some cool like tech stuff that ZoomInfo didn't really do. Once upon a time, ZoomInfo data looked like you would say, I'm looking for, I don't know, ABC company, and I want all the job titles related to something, marketing, let's say. And so it would give you a sheet with everyone in marketing and their data, job titles, and a bunch of information that you wanted about them so that you could reach out to them in a really targeted and intelligent way rather than sending out spam emails and all that nonsense. Yeah, these two tools, I'm very much doubting ZoomInfo is going to show pricing. Yeah. Looks like, of course. All right, here's what we're going to do. Use some trusty AI here. And what we'll do to get more information on how these tools differentiate from other ones is, no, that's not the right one. Okay, yeah. What we're going to do in later videos is take these 4 prospecting tools and any other ones and just walk through the platforms. I think that's probably the best way. Hopefully get one of their sales or marketing people on a call, do a video call with them, just say, you know, how's your tool different from XYZ? What do you guys focus on over other people in the industry? And kind of see what everyone has to say. I think it's interesting. Again, there's so many options out there. It's really hard to know which provider you should use for a lot of these. My go-to is Apollo, just because I'm familiar with it, but you know, everyone can make up their own mind. So yeah, according to AI, looks like it's about 15K per year for smaller ones, and then 40 to 60, and I know they pay a lot more than that for huge companies, so not really your entry-level data provider. AI, let's see what you got. Okay, interesting. I wonder if this is true. That I don't know. Cognism used to be incredibly expensive, on par with Zoom Info, but maybe it's different now. If this page is true, it's going to be exactly the same as a Cognism type, so I'd be really interested in hearing what the difference is between these. Yeah, platform fees. So you'd pay to have access to their platform, and then each user to have access to that would be an additional amount of money. We will talk to someone and look into this. Seamless, I think we checked. They have a free option that you could use with 50 credits a month, or maybe just 50 credits total. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. We're going to look at these tools more in the future. Just kind of wanted to point out that there are other options if you've used Apollo and had a bad experience maybe, or whatever. To get started on this tool, what I did before this call or before this video was I added my email address and went to log in. I'm going to add a copy of the link that I used here because I set up another website which actually is kind of addressing what we're talking about here of what is the difference between these tools and which one should you sign up for, and depending on what you're looking for. That's a larger conversation, but generally a challenge that companies have. There's just too many options nowadays and no one knows who to go with, and then they get burnt by going with the wrong provider. Anyway, so this has sent me an email, which I have on another screen. That's where I keep looking to. The next screen is this. I'm going to pull this tab off of this page, just complete this information, and then I'll pull it right back over. Hooray. Okay, so as we're going through this, maybe I should slow down a bit. A lot of these tools are going to try and customize the way that their platforms work around whatever the user's doing. So if you're a SDR, entry-level salesperson, or maybe a little higher level salesperson, you're probably going to want to use or have access to different parts of the program. Just like someone in marketing is going to have different metrics they're working towards. Same with operations and IT. You know, they want to get data on who's using their platform, why they're using it, what the kind of use case is for their sales teams and marketing teams to do more accurate outreach, which is normally why they ask for this info. The next one's why we want to start using it. The obvious answer for me is to do outreach. want to set up automated campaigns so that when I'm traveling or when I'm building my app at night or whenever I'm doing stuff, I can have emails going out at the same time as I'm calling customers to try and find companies to partner with. Essentially, the goal is to have as many ways to reach customers as possible going on at any given time. You could spend your entire day doing cold calls like a telemarketer, which does work, but it uses your entire day. You can go to events, which tend to be more expensive, and kind of engage with people there. Or you can, go, I don't know, knock on business doors or whatever and see if people would be interested. There's a lot of different ways to approach customers and find them, unironically. The best thing to do in sales or to find customers is to do as many of those as at the same time as you can. So we will be looking at ads in a later video. I have a whole notepad here with videos that I kind of want to go through and things I want to look at. So ads would bring people to my website or have people complete forms, and then I would follow up on those. So we're going to get ads going as well, and try and have people coming to my website and seeing if they're interested or not and having kind of sales conversations with them. We're also, while we're doing that, going to be doing more videos like this, which is really helpful for sort of lead gen in the future. As much as this YouTube channel is about building this company, hopefully it starts reaching people who are building companies or potentially who work for companies that would be interested in one of the tools that I'm really primarily focusing on at this point, which is building channel partnerships and leveraging sort of referral programs and existing contacts within companies to find more leads and essentially generate more revenue for a company. So I'm hoping that this reaches people like that in the future. Probably not, because I think I have a total of 2 or 3 followers on this channel for the time being, which is my fault for not posting enough and doing enough work on this. But it is rolling forward. Anyway, the point of all this is to say we're going to get as many different methods and sources of lead generation going on for this company. That's going to involve outbound emails. That's going to involve phone calls. That's going to involve events and advertising and videos like this on YouTube. For now, we're going to focus on the outbound side, though. I just want to point out that earlier I'd mentioned enrichment, and the purpose of this is just to keep the CRM data clean and accurate. What that means is if you have 100 records, 100 people in your CRM system, and you're not able to talk to all of them for whatever reason, you could connect this tool with a CRM system, and it will update the information in the CRM as the system gets more up-to-date information, which is kind of cool. So number one hardest thing to do in sales is have good leads and good information, and tools like this really help you kind of keep that information tidy and keep your customers in like the most reachable way possible. Deal execution, this might be a new tool. Honestly, I'm not sure exactly what this means for Apollo. I haven't used it before. It would be interesting to see if they've added some pipeline management tool into the system where after a lead or after a prospect or person you're talking to clicks on a link or expresses interest, maybe in an email response, if this tool automatically adds it as a deal in your pipeline or a potential opportunity, and then it kind of tracks the opportunity as it progresses through the sales stages and sales process. Again, don't know. We can look at it later, but let's just go with outbound for now. Obviously, and we're going to use Gmail. This is all publicly available. If you want to reach me, you can reach me at brandon@buildingcapital.co or connect@buildingcapital.co. What we're doing is we're actually connecting our email account now. So this is what I was saying before. Tools like these will let you find prospects and find people that you want to reach out to, prospects as in prospective customers. And the tool connects to my email inbox, and then we'll send out emails so that it can reach customers that are potentially interested, or they're just going to tell me to F off essentially, which is not uncommon either. But we're going to go through building a lead list. Hopefully we can find some information here. I might have to blur it out just so I don't get in trouble with Apollo. I don't know how that works. I would be pretty interested in that actually, but it doesn't really matter for the time being. So we're just going to continue the sign up process and start searching for prospects. I'd note that the other side of the page here had a way that you could download their app, and when you connect their app to your Chrome, what it does is it'll allow you to save data into Apollo that you find on the internet on other websites. So if another website has, John Smith and says John Smith's numbers 12345 789, it'll create a lead for John Smith at whatever company it might be in a news article with the phone number, which is cool. I don't really want this to be too much of a walkthrough of the tool, but a lot of these tools incentivize you or essentially have gamified the onboarding process. So as you go through it, it's going to ask you to do a number of things here, and it's going to essentially give you credits that you can use. So a credit would be you search for 10 people, you create a prospecting list of people you want to reach out to, of say 10. You look at them, you say, oh, I only actually care about 6 of these 10, and you want the tool to provide information for the 6 out of 10. That would use 6 credits in that example, and you have a certain amount you can use on a free account per month. This is saying that if you do all of the getting started ones, you get 75 credits in the first 14 days. So we'll definitely be doing that. But again, I don't really want this to be a walkthrough of Apollo. I'd rather this just be focused on setting up a prospecting tool and kind of the purpose of it, which we have covered to some extent, but we'll go through it again. This tool's, as with everything else, every single company has added AI to everything they do. I haven't used it here yet. So actually, let's see how that works. Create prospect list for I'm curious how good this is. So what we're going to do is we're telling us to create a prospect list for small and medium-sized businesses in the United States. I need decision makers, director level and above. Industry agnostic, so it works with all industries except public services, government, schools, and businesses that do not provide a tool or service. Now, the reason I'm adding this last one, which might not actually do anything for the AI, is just because, like I'd mentioned, I'm making a tool to help companies essentially build channel and partner networks, and then also work with referrals. So they need to have customers, and hopefully they have a partner so they understand the value of partners. They might not, though, and I don't think that public services like parks and I don't know, just any other public services like the local energy program or trash collector companies, whatever they are, I don't think that any of those utility companies would have a use case for something like this. So I really just want to be working with private businesses. So I've said we're industry agnostic, so we don't care what industry someone's in. They could be in every industry, but we're going to get rid of some of the types of customers that just won't really have a good use case for us. So again, that's public services, government, schools, and businesses that do not provide it. Hold on. And now we're going to keep that. And yeah, let's actually keep it like this. I don't know what the tool's gonna provide. No, companies with 20 plus staff under 250. This is very cool. Yeah, so this is a new tool, so I'm kind of testing this live right now. If this sucks, I know how to do a prospect search anyway, so we're kind of going to look at that. So what this has done is the AI has taken what I wrote and then is providing a list. These are the filters that it's using. So United States, which is I live in the US, so I want to sell to companies here. Company size, we're getting started is 20 to 250. We're looking for director level, C level, head, or partner. Add to seniority, founder related titles. Focus on sales, marketing, company owner, titles. So it provided a list of filters that it's going to use to create a prospect list. I'm telling it to add to that. Okay, cool. So these are what it's saying to use. I'm saying to add to the management level that I can also be a founder related title. So that could be someone like me for this company, I guess. Also to focus on sales, marketing, and company owner titles. So this tool doesn't make sense for someone in IT because they don't work with sales or marketing, and that's what this tool does. So we're going to work on sales, marketing, and company owner. So the person that created the business, the person responsible for revenue, and then the person responsible for lead generation. Cool. So it's created a list here. We can look through this, and this looks good. Instead of we'll save it. Now I have a limited number of companies that I can reach out to, so I need to make sure that with the free account at least, which we will be upgrading. Okay. Sorry, I'm reading this and zoning out. What it was doing is it was asking me what I want to. Okay, cool. The filters were created. I'm running into limitations now because I'm technically still on a free account. This will be, again, upgraded later. I just don't want to go through blurring my credit card number for a video, so I'm going to probably do that after I finish recording this today. What this is essentially saying is the tool found 130,000 people I could potentially reach out to. And it's going to save the entire filtered tool, the filtered pool. So all of the prospects that we uncovered. Unfortunately, because I'm on a free plan, I can only select 25 records at a time. I'm not going to select 25 records at a time individually for 130,000 different people. What I'm instead going to do is create a prospect list using this information here. And create a prospect list using these filters here and just save that as a search. And then I can filter it down a bit more because as we go through it, it will, we'll probably find that there's better titles that we can use and stuff like that also. Cool. So we have this here. All I'm going to do is recreate this now as its own filter. Okay. And we're going to go to prospect and enrich. We're looking for peoples or companies. You can do this two ways. You could say I'm targeting a very specific job title, and that's one way to target the people you want to work with. That's a really good option, honestly, because you want to, in my case, I want to sell to people of specific titles, and my pitch doesn't change between companies, but it does change between titles quite a bit. The alternative is that I could build a prospect list by targeting companies. So if I'm trying to target, I don't know, lawn care companies or building companies for whatever reason, I can create a prospect list which just targets building companies or lawn companies or companies that provide light bulbs, whatever it is. But yeah, there's different use cases for each of these. We're just going to do people at this point. Oh, cool. Okay, so it has added this here, so I don't need a second page open. So we're going to start filtering our list to include I'm going to have to add these individually. That is really annoying. All right, cool. So what we're doing is we're taking information from here. Going too fast. All right. President. And you'll notice as we add different filters in here, it's actually filtering the data in this middle part of the page right here. So what we see is this total number should be increasing as we add more titles. And then as we start adding some of the exclusion list, it's going to drop down substantially. Sales director, marketing director. Okay, cool. So these are all the job titles we'd like to work with. Management level, owner, founder, C-suite, partner, head. Owner, founder, C-suite, partner, head, director. All right, whatever. That's good. And location, we definitely want to focus on some. We're going to focus on, you have two options here. So we're building a list of prospects. We need to choose if we want to look for the person's personal location. So do we want to find people in Dallas, Texas, or do we want to find companies that are based in Dallas, Texas? So as an example, so I actually don't care where someone's based because a lot of people are remote, and what I'm going to do is look for companies that are based in Texas because I'm based in Texas. But rather than actually focus on a state like that, I'm going to look for all over the US. But there are cases where maybe I want to work with and target companies in America, and so I need to create a list of places that I don't want to work with for countries that have trade restrictions, as an example, which maybe there or may not, I don't know. Or maybe I'm in the US and I'm targeting companies in England, and so I'll make a list of companies in England here and exclude other countries or exclude certain parts of England maybe. There's different cases for these things. We're just going to broadly say the United States here. A number shrinking. Love it. What I need to do is look under, we have job titles, company. Okay, here we go. Now we're going to get to the industries that we want to work with. And rather than focusing on which industries we do want to work with, we're going to use the exclusion list here on the right that we created before and get rid of all the companies we don't want to work with. The hell? Location. Where is it? Oh. Here we go. What are we doing? Industry and keywords. We're not trying to do keywords. We're trying to do okay. So we're building an exclusion list for certain industries. Nonprofits, religious, nothing wrong with these. It just doesn't align well for the first few companies that I'm going to work with for my brand new company. I need to focus on companies that can generate revenue. There's a lot of work that we could do with religious organizations, but I don't know how that works legally exactly, and I know that a lot of the churches I'd love to work with, especially the smaller local ones, probably won't have money to hire someone. And so I need to get the first batch of customers I'm going to work with to be the perfect customers, essentially. It looks like NGO isn't an option here. Weird. Oh, hold on. We're going to get rid of that crap. We're going to exclude keywords. Okay, for whatever reason, the way that a lot of these businesses are tagged, that's why NGO is not showing up in that list. Cool. NGO, nonprofit. Nonprofit and religious. So when they're adding businesses to this website, what they'll do is they'll tag a company, like one of these. Let's just imagine it's something else. It'll say religious organization. What keywords are doing is they're saying anything with that tag associated with the company is not going to be included. What else are we looking to do here? Now we're going to actually go back and focus on excluding a bunch of industries. And this is just to take this 2 million number down, 2 million number down to something much more manageable and smaller. Government. I am going to need to find a way to put some music in these videos because I have some very nice music on right now. Yeah, so we're just recreating this list to the right, which is pretty mind-numbing. Oh no, this isn't filtered. Oh, okay, here. Cool. So we have job titles we're looking to work with, the location. We have industries and keywords that we don't want to work with, which is all of these. And now we need to filter. We're going to go into company here and filter down by company size. Okay, so what we did to do that is we just went over here. So we've added 37 filters. We're going to view all of the filters instead of their short list on the left. We're going to go here for employees. And we're just going to do 20 to 200. 200 is a big company. Realistically, we're probably going for 20 to 100 people before this role starts being something that people look at themselves anyway. I'll just look through and see if there's anything else. So persona, I don't think I can do any of that on a free account. One thing we're doing, because we're doing email, is I only want to email people with verified email addresses. I don't want to send emails to unavailable or update required or unverified or user managed. Each of these has, if you email too many of these, your email address is going to get marked as spam, and so your emails won't get delivered. We also don't want to use catch-all emails. What that means is if all new emails coming to a company are received to some general inbox, we don't want to email that, because then we're going to look like spam. We only want to email verified people. Being labeled as spam is a huge problem. Name, education doesn't matter. URLs don't matter. Stuff like job change is really interesting if you're building one in the future, just to see if someone has changed jobs in the last 6 to 12 months. A lot of times when people go to new roles, they're looking to change something in the new company, and it's sometimes a good time to target these people. Employees we have, email status we have. Nope, we don't. Hold on. 20 to 200. We are going to apply these filters. We get 129,000. And hold on, I need to make sure that all these emails are, oh, okay, hold on, it is. All right, email status verified. We're excluding the catch-all inboxes. What we're going to do here is save this. We're saving this as a new search. US 20 to 200. What am I doing? US 20 to 200. Verified. ICP potentially. As we're doing these onboarding tasks, it's giving us more and more credits that we can use for our first month, which is super cool. So we could do is we could look through a lot of these and see if there's good companies to be working with or potentially to not work with. If we see a lot of businesses coming up that are companies that aren't relevant to what I do at all, interesting. Random people just don't. We just okay, whatever. Legal might be a really interesting use case for this as well. Here's what we're going to do though, just to keep it easy for the purpose of this video, which is already running longer than I wanted. We're just going to select 20 people. I'm going to select this page, one person per company. The only reason we do that is so that we don't have, 5 people from one company, and that uses our daily credits. We're going to add these people to a sequence, which we're going to make right now. We're going to create a new sequence as well. Primary. It's going to reach out between 8 and 5. This is going to get worked on. I'm just creating this because I need to. No catch-all emails. Awesome. Let's see. I swear if this messes with my listing, I'll be pissed. Yeah, I don't know what this tool does. They've added a lot of new stuff since I used this last time. The last few companies I've engaged have already had tools in place, or like the current one, they won't take these new tools on. Great, okay. Who the hell knows? Yeah, sorry, the new companies I've worked with, they just won't take new tools on for various security reasons. And so I haven't been able to use these tools as much, but I will be doing it myself. Anyway, what we're doing now is we're going to really quickly make a sequence. And this is... I'm going to have to do it. Hold on. I need to do a video on this. I've done this before, and I've done this with a lot of roles. So I'm going to cover it at a very high level right now, and then I think it's worth going into in another video. Essentially, when you're doing outreach like this, especially if you don't want to seem like some nonsense spammer, you want to be reaching out to people with relevant information. So if I'm reaching out to 1,000 companies and I'm just randomly picking them, my message isn't going to be very relevant to anyone in that list, but I may want to reach out to companies of a certain size because I know companies under, say, 200 employees have the same problem every single time, which in this case is true. The service that I'm providing is not something that smaller companies tend to have because they don't have budget to pay for someone to do this role within their company, which is why I'm trying to do it myself. It's also a great way to do marketing and very price efficient, and should directly impact revenue, which is another thing that marketing just, it's hard to kind of track. Anyway, the reason I'm talking about this is I'm going to build an email campaign right now, which I'm probably going to work on and refine later. Don't look at this and think that this is a final result by any means. And don't think that whatever I'm sending now is also going to be sent directly to customers. It's probably going to be worked on and revised quite a bit. So I might just put the framework in here now and then go complete the, and review this over the weekend, and then kind of post it later. Because this video I don't think is going out till Monday anyway. Okay, so hold on. What's going on here? Okay, hold on. How do I delete this? Okay, so what I did is I created a campaign and it asked me what the first stage that I want to do is. It says, do I want to do an automatic email, manual, phone call, action item, LinkedIn, whatnot, or something else? My first thing, because I don't want to have to do as much myself in the beginning, is to add an automatic step. That means that the system here is going to automatically do something rather than manual email, which is telling me and prompting me to send an email. Manual emails are great. Emails are great in general. Phone calls are great. All these things work, but they all have different use cases. When you're doing a prospecting list like this, again, I just want to emphasize, because I was saying it a second ago and kind of dazed off, you need to make sure whatever emails you're creating and prospecting list you're creating is relevant to the type of customer that you're reaching out to. If I'm reaching out to legal companies and I know that legal companies need to work with XYZ regulation, then I can be very specific in my messaging to do that. But if a company, which you'd want to do for smaller companies, but let's say there was the number one company here in Texas that I wanted to work with that was in the legal space, it makes sense for me not to add them to an automatic email campaign, because I want to do some research before I reach out to them. Now this tends to be the industry giants and more of the marquee type customers, but it's worth not adding anyone you can to an automatic email, because that would just kind of suck. I know I don't read nonsense emails like that myself either. Anyway, just kind of wanted to talk about that. So yeah, reason I'm saying that is you can have multiple sequences running at the same time. You don't only have to have one. Maybe you want to have 3 sequences running, 3 sequences sending out 10 emails each a day. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it does add up. Maybe you want to have 3 different sequences, one of them going out to small and medium businesses, sends out 20 a day, one focusing more on your ideal customer, the mid-sized business, that's sending out 20 more a day, and then maybe you only want to send out 10 emails to those marquee customers and really focus on the job title. It makes sense to have sequences that are focused on the messaging, rather, in the sequences is focused more on the type of people that you're trying to target. So for this one, we're just going to set up a general one. Actually, I'm just going to build this now how I would normally build one, and then I'll come back and fix it later. Actually, I don't know. Okay. A/B test is really interesting. So we're creating these automatic emails. You'll always want to A/B test, but again, it's a limitation of the free account, which I just can't do right now. So I'm not going to do it, but I will explain it. Let's say that I have an email going out to customers and I say, I know what the messaging is, what I think the best messaging is for customers. But maybe I'm like, okay, I could talk about, using the legal example, I could talk about this really specific legal case, or I can just take a much higher level message that is a broader message. An A/B test makes both versions of this email and sends out both of them. So if I'm emailing 10 people, it's going to send 5 emails to one person and 5 to another. And it's a really good way of testing email traction that you're getting while you're also doing prospecting and customer outreach. But again, I can't do it right now. It's definitely worth doing in the future, though. I don't want anything. No template. All right. Prospecting 1. So we're just I'm going to create 3 emails here. I'm not adding any phone calls or anything special to it at this point. Yeah. Cool. So I'm creating an email. This is the subject of the email that's going to be sent from my email address. I'm creating a new thread when I'm doing it, and later emails I might not do that. I might just say reply. A title for this could be potential partnership or something like this. Again, this is all getting changed before it gets sent out. What we're going to do is we're going to add some dynamic variables so I don't start all my emails with hi. I'm just going to say the person's name. We're going to start out with some example of what we're building here, or what we're trying to build rather. So rather than me writing it myself, no, that's the wrong one. Let's see if I have any messaging written already. Cool. Okay, cool. So I have some text that I'm just creating right now. Again, we'll be going through this later. Definitely not a final draft. Instead of would it be worth a quick look, we want to not add closed-ended questions. We want to say, when can we Great. Okay, cool. Cool. Not a bad email. It's short. I'd read it myself if someone sent it to me because it's short. We're going to save this. The hell? Oh, okay, cool. What this was saying, that thing was popping up and it was saying that it's set up to send automatically. I just needed to deactivate the sequence here. So nothing's getting sent out yet. We're now adding another email to this. That's a follow-up. Oh, wrong button. Yeah, they've changed this since last time I've used it, which is pretty cool. We're going to create a new thread again here. Add their name. Actually, we will. Building capitals. Partner hub. There you go. That's what it said before. All right. Email 2 is a bit pitchy and sounds very. Email 2 sounds like marketing slop. So I'm working with ChatGPT just to create examples of emails to send out now. And actually these, we'll see. Marketing, I can't spell because I'm tired. Email 2 sounds like marketing slop. Create a concise message relevant to prospects. Don't assume they are interested. Where is the CTA? There we go, this is better. Ugh, I hate marketing slop. It's the worst. I hated marketing slop when I had to do marketing slop. There you go. First name, boom. Oof, another hour video. Damn. Company. The hell is the company name? Yeah, those automatic things always have problems unless you really filter your data. Second email is titled Turn Partnerships into Activity, and then says Partner Hub helps businesses generate opportunities through companies and people they already know, find potential partners, coordinate referrals and introductions, run joint activities, and track business. Is this worth a quick look to see not if, but how this could work for you? Okay. Ooh, that was very rude. Didn't add regards to the end. And then we're going to add another step to this email, which is another. Let's look at email 3. All right, email 3. Your network should create business. You don't need hundreds of partners, blah, blah, blah. Not going to ask if they're interested in generating more revenue. I don't like that either. Hold on. Interested in. Why is it shorthanding all this shit? Are you interested in generating higher value leads? Everyone's answer is yes. Okay, cool. And then we're gonna add the last one. Add email 4, which specifically mentions referrals. This is a final closing email. Okay, last step. Last automatic email. If you send 100 emails and you get 2 or 3, I think 3 responses would be the average, you're doing fine. These messages aren't as focused as if I were reaching out to one person at a time, but again, it's just more time efficient. So, and last idea. Are referrals a meaningful source of new business for you today? Here. Confirm 16%. All right, whatever. We're just going to add this now. It's not a bad start. So what we've done is, oh, what is this, the last one? All right, cool. Last thought. Maximizer, whatever. Cool, whatever. We're going to leave it like this for now. I'm going to come back and look at it. Okay, so what we've done here, like I was mentioning before, we've created a prospect list based on what I imagine to be an ideal demographic of customers based on location in the US, companies not in public type roles, so no government, no schools, no education, no stuff like that. We're avoiding religious for the time being as well, just due to getting initial revenue generating customers. We took this prospect list of 130 total companies. We've added 25 of those pretty indiscriminately, honestly, to a sequence. We've built the sequence together just now. It's not active. The sequence itself has 4 steps, which is broken up into 4 automated emails. The emails go through the process of, are you getting enough from your partners? So basically just talking about high level information about my company and how to reach me. Or sorry, let me rephrase. Is giving high level information about my business and the service that we offer, and trying to see if there's any engagement with the people that we're emailing. I'm going to elaborate on this as I upgrade the account and set up more A/B emails and see what messaging works best, and just making sure that I'm kind of going through this process in a much more thoughtful way rather than just creating an example sequence to show for the purpose of this video. There's a lot to look at in these tools, a lot of stuff that didn't used to exist. So we're going to be doing more of this in the future for sure. But this video should be getting published at the end of the weekend, which gives me time to do some editing and modification to it. And then I've made notes of all of the other stuff that we haven't been able to cover too much today. such as messaging. So finding a customer's ICP, or finding your ideal customer profile for the people that you want to sell to because you think they're going to be the most likely one customers. So that's messaging. We're going to do ads, so some stuff we can do with social media and just other ways to build that marketing funnel. I'm going to look at customer feedback's an interesting one. That might be better later. I'm also going to be doing a video probably this week on exactly what Partner Hub's doing, although we have kind of talked about it here. But yeah, we'll get more videos coming out. I'm getting this business running by the end of the month. It already exists. I'm already reaching out to companies now, so I want to get this running as soon as possible. But yeah, thanks again for watching this. I'm going to get this posted, edited, and see what I have to blur, if anything. Please let me know if there's any specific topics on sales, marketing, or let me think actually. If there's any specific interest in videos like sales training, just high level sales training. I recorded something in the past that I need to redo, but I'd be interested to see how many people think sales is actually like, kind of the tacky, awesome, but tacky movies you see versus, what it's really like being in sales, or what doing marketing, or I guess any marketing questions you have. As someone in sales, I find marketing to be very interesting because you'd think the purpose of marketing is to generate leads for sales and effectively close sales, but ironically, that's not how it works at these companies most of the time. So different day, different conversation. But yeah, just reach out if you have any questions. I'm going to be documenting the growth of this business. I haven't posted something in way too long, and that's on me. So we'll get this moving again. Thanks again, and yeah, all the best.